Okay, onto hands and knees. Just into our tabletop position. Take a moment to find your position. So shins parallel, shoulders over wrists, using all of your hand to press into the ground. Press down into your thumbs, and we'll just move through some cat-cow poses. So let's start by rounding out, scooping in. Just pause here for a moment, really feel the pose, and then come on through to your cow. So you might feel a really good stretch up the front line of the body. Breathe into it, and then rounding out again. Let's keep moving at your own pace. To start to follow your breath. Let your breath initiate each movement. So we're allowing the breath to set the pace of the movement. You may find it feels more natural to breathe in as you lengthen through. If it's the opposite, that's fine too. Just starting to feel into the body, beginning to mobilize the spine, starting to create some mobility around the shoulders as well, maybe a little around the neck too. If you want to have a bit of a wriggle from side to side, you can just kind of stretch into one side, see how that feels, and into the other. So you can let your weight shift sort of more into one hand and then the other, making the movement a bit more dynamic. And as always, you can close your eyes if you like, just helping to find that internal connection. Really being with what's here today. Noticing where you're at, letting go of anything external. All right, let's settle into a neutral position and just circle the wrists if they need it. Or wriggle fingers. It usually feels quite nice too, just to relieve the tendons and muscles. Then we'll step the right hand into the center, still keeping your weight forward so the shoulder is right over the wrist, and then float the left hand open. So depending on your mobility in your shoulder, you might find you're just lifting to here, or maybe you can rotate a bit further. Just make sure you're not yanking the arm back. So we want to move with ease, and we'll float the hand back down. So really lift up and out of the pose, reaching the arm up or open, back down. Let's just do a couple more. So breathing in as we open, breathing out to lower. And one more time, so try and lift right up out of the shoulder and float down. Just shuffling the hands so the left hand comes to the center. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. So see where your mobility is on the other side. So you might have a different range of movement with this arm. Floating down. Breathe to open. Breathing out to lower. Let's do it 2 more times. Lifting out of that bottom shoulder all the way up and touch down. Okay, step your hands a bit further forward and lower your elbows so they come right under your shoulders. Okay, now try and keep your hips directly above your knees, And we're just going to inch the arms forward until you can bring your forehead to the ground. So keep walking the hands forward. So try not to come all the way back so your belly is on your thighs. We want to keep the hips high. So we're tipping the tailbone right up towards the ceiling. Starting to press the chest through towards the ground. This is a beautiful opening of the heart space. Really good for the shoulders too. So noticing your overhead range of your shoulders, whether you feel a little stiff or whether just by spending time here you can start to press the chest through a little more. Let your head rest down and just breathe. So we'll stay here for a few more long breaths. If it's quite an unfamiliar pose to you, really try and breathe into it and breathe into any discomfort. Try and find ease in the pose. Okay, and then to come out, just walk the hands in. And let's bring the knees a little bit wider. We'll sit hips back towards heels. Let your elbows float down, forehead to the floor. And just take a few breaths here. Allow your shoulders to relax. Let your head feel heavy. Sinking hips towards heels. Take breaths into the back of the body. Okay, now come on forward again. Bring your knees about hip width apart. So just now tabletop again. This time we're coming down to forearms. You may like to clasp your fists together. Now tucking your toes under, send your hips up. It's kind of like a down dog, but on our elbows. So we're sending hips high and pressing the chest through. Really drive down into your forearms. If it's not working for you, just keep the knees down. But if you can, we've got the knees off. They don't have to be straight. Okay, so as bent as you need to be, depending on the flexibility of your hamstrings. But we'll start to tip the hips high as we push the chest through. So you may be able to get your ears in line with your biceps. Keep driving down into the arms. You might start to find a little bit more length in the backs of the legs, but just make sure you're not hunching through your spine to compensate. Let's hold just for a couple more breaths. And then we'll lower knees to come out. Coming up onto your hands. Spread fingers, keep your toes tucked under and then lift your hips high. Same thing, pressing the chest through, knees as bent as you like, so really focus on tipping the tailbone up towards the ceiling, trying to keep your upper body in one beautiful long line, so we're not hinging at the shoulders. We're trying to work on this overhead range without collapsing through the middle of the body. So you might start to bring the heels just a little lower, if you can do so without hunching through the spine. Okay, so we're still hooking the tailbone up, pressing the chest through and pushing strongly into the hands. Just holding for a couple more breaths here. And then walking your feet all the way up to your hands. Let's come into a forward fold. So here we'll just let everything hang out. Just loosen up through the neck and shoulders. Maybe hold elbows if you like. Big full breaths. Now coming halfway up, Hands float to shins. Try and straighten your legs as much as you can, straightening the arms. And release down to your fold. Let your head hang. So here we'll have the knees just a little softer again, so we're not putting the pressure in the lower back. Going halfway up, straighten legs. Try and pitch your weight forward as far as you can. And then float down again. We'll do this one more time. Lifting halfway up. Straighten elbows, long spine, strong legs, drawing up through the quads. And float back down. Now rolling all the way up to standing, curling up through the spine. And when you get to standing, just do whatever you need to. If you need to just sort of have a bit of a shuffle around, a readjustment, and then eventually we will settle into a nice still position again. Close your eyes if you like. Just let your arms hang loose, spread toes. Rocking forward and back until you find a place where you're most stable. Just feel that little adjustment of the hips as we slightly draw in through the belly. Keep the lower back nice and long, opening across the chest. A little lift through the crown of the head. So feeling strong, stable and at ease. Now with your next breath in, float arms up. So just bring them to where you can without arching through the lower back to get them high. Okay, so if your overhead range is about to here, just stay with that. Try not to disturb your posture. So really lift and stretch, send your fingertips really high. And then soften the knees and float one arm forward, one arm back, and just turn through the shoulders. So we're trying to keep the hips still pointing forward, just turning through the upper body. Float arms up, straighten all the way up. Soften knees and turn to the other side. Straighten all the way up. Now melt all the way down to your forward fold. Let's lift halfway up. Now bend the knees and sweep arms high. So just like before, if you can only get your arms to here, stay with that, rather than arching through the lower back just to get the arms higher. So really try and pay attention to your overhead range of your shoulders, still stabilizing the trunk of your body. Stretch all the way up. Soften knees, pulling in through the belly, float one arm forward, one arm back. Reaching up, come to the other side, to the top, and melt all the way down to your fold. We'll do that whole sequence one more time. Lifting halfway up. Bend knees, sweep arms up. Really paying attention to which parts of your body are articulating to find the pose. Okay, so very strong, very stable. Stretch on up. Soften knees, float arms wide. Come to the top, to the other side. And of course, we're breathing as we're moving. Melt back down to your fold. Big workout for the shoulders. All right, let's shoot the right leg back into a lunge. Okay, make sure that back foot is really stable, so if you need to shorten your stance a bit, that's fine too. Drive down into the front heel as we float arms high. Now soften the back knee, pulling in through the belly still, feeling strong here. Keep stretching your fingers up. Sink a bit deeper into the legs if you can. All right, shifting forward, fingertips touch down and step into your forward fold. This time, left leg back. So make sure your feet are in a stable position before you rise, sweeping up. Bend the back knee, drop in. So you might be getting a stretch up through the front of the hip. Just make sure you're not making a banana with the lower back. Just stretch fingertips high and float fingertips to the floor. Step in. Just do this one more time to each side. Shoot the leg back, drag arms up. Dip the back knee. Coming forward, stepping in, and to the other side. Coming up, dropping in, lift, shift, come into your forward fold. So hanging out here, you may like to hold on to your elbows or let your arms hang loose. Whatever feels good. Bring in some movement if you like. You might shift the weight into one leg, then the other. Alright, bring hands to the floor. This time we'll step both feet back into a plank position. So plant your hands, bring your hips down to shoulder height and keep your weight forward. Right out over the hands. So draw the shoulder blades in towards each other and keep a little lift in the belly. And then lift your hips up and back and press your chest through. Keeping your neck nice and long so we don't drop the head and we're not looking forward. Floating forward to your high plank. Feel the strength around your shoulders. Now lifting up and back, push away. Coming forward again. This time we're going to hold it. Keep bringing your weight forward. Now either from your knees or your toes, slowly lower, come all the way down till you land. Flatten feet. Reach arms in front of you. So you can prop your fingertips on the floor, or you can float hands off the ground with your thumbs up. Now try and pull the shoulder blades back and down towards each other. Keep the arms really strong so we're not hunching shoulders up by the ears. We want to pull them back. Now bringing arms wide. You can have fingertips to the floor or you can keep thumbs up. Keep slightly pulling in through the belly so there's a little bit of a tip in the pelvis to keep the lower back long. Reaching arms back, fingers down or hands off. Hold for one more breath. And release. Just bring your arms in front of you, stack one arm over the other, and rest your head. Take a break, loosen up through the legs, relax the glutes. Turn your head to the other side. Now we're going to do that one more time. So check in with the position of your lower back. So make sure you're not making that banana shape. So we're pressing the hips into the ground and imagine that you're trying to lift your belly button away from the ground. Even just the thought of it is enough. So we've got arms in front, you can have your fingertips on the ground or you could lift up. Hold for a breath. Keep your feet pressing into the ground as well. Open arms wide, turn thumbs up, so we're closing the shoulder blades towards each other. Arms back, touch down if you need to. All right, and then bring your hands under your shoulders, spread your fingers. Now either from your knees or you can tuck your toes. We're going to lift the belly button off the floor, push into hands, pushing up and come back, or however you get there. Walk on the spot, that feels good. Okay, bend your knees deeply and step your right foot through into a lunge. This time we'll drop the back knee, plant the left hand and sweep your right arm open. So just noticing where you can open naturally without hinging the shoulder back. So we want to find that nice line across the collarbones, lifting out of the bottom shoulder, and then float the hand down, tuck the back toes under, push back and switch sides. So bend knees, step the left foot through, take an extra step if you need it to get it all the way forward, and then take your twist. Doing it one more time to each side. Tuck toes under, pushing back. This time it's the right leg through, touch down and open. Try and turn from the middle of the spine, turn the shoulders, maybe turn the head as well. Touch down, come back, and one more time. Touch down, step back, and then we'll drop knees and spin all the way over onto your back. So think about broadening across the shoulders again. Anchor your hands down, push down into the soles of the feet, and let's lift the hips off into our bridge pose. Just for a breath, and release back down. Now you could keep your arms pinned to the floor, or you could let them follow into the movement as we drive down into the feet. Float arms up your sides, all the way overhead. So they may not naturally touch the ground. If they do, that's great. If they don't, you might be here. And then release all the way down. Rise again. So try and maintain the stability of the trunk of your body. Okay, so we're not making a big banana. We want to be lifting the hips, pulling in through the belly, just reaching the arms to wherever they can without losing the integrity of your core. Okay, and release down. We'll do it 2 more times in your own timing, at your own pace. So smooth, long breath in. And a long breath out. One more time. Finally coming all the way down. Float arms a bit wider when you're done. If you're still going, that's fine. Take your time. Drop knees over to one side, maybe turn and look in the opposite direction. And over to the other side. To the first side again. And switch. Coming up through center, pick up one leg, I should say lift one leg, push the heel up, but drive your hips into the floor. So you can hold behind the thigh, knee can be a little bent if you need. So just like all of our other poses, if you really want to straighten the leg, you might find that you're compensating somewhere else. So you might be popping the ribs forward. We want to make sure that we create this stability in the core, in the center of the body, and then we can start to work on lengthening the hamstrings and lengthening muscles, but already starting from this supported position. So pushing the heel up, anchoring the hips down, so make sure that you're not curling the hips off the ground. Just gently guiding the leg a little bit closer towards you. And then take the leg in the in the opposite hand. So hold with the opposite hand, move it just across your body until you can feel a stretch down the outside of the leg. Still anchoring down. Now let's come all the way over until you're lying on the side of the hip. Other arm floats wide. Keep it in line with your shoulder. Think about opening across the chest. So maybe the shoulder will make it to the ground, maybe it doesn't quite. So just find yourself in a comfortable position that you can sustain and let your breath flow with ease. If you need to, you could always bend up the knees. So always modify your position if you're feeling any real discomfort. Okay, let's pass back through center now. So start with the hips level, make sure everything is all in line again. Then we'll send the leg up, hold behind the thigh. You can hold higher if you want to, but just make sure that you are pushing the hips into the floor, because the temptation might be for the tailbone to curl off the ground in an effort to get the leg closer. Now if the shoulders are curling forward, let them open wide. Taking a hold with the opposite hand, move the leg just across the center of your body. Maybe a bit further, maybe a bit less. Breathe into the stretch. For some people it'll be really tight, others might have a bit more give. Now let's come all the way over. Try and lower with your out breath. Other arm opens wide. Just noticing how we are actually moving the shoulder. So we're trying not to wrench the shoulder back. We want it to be nice and open across the collarbones. So you may find even that the elbow doesn't quite make it to the ground. A little different for everyone. Modify if you need to, and let the pose deepen with each out breath. Okay, coming back through center. And this time we'll bring soles of the feet together, knees open. And you've got the option here of bringing your arms overhead and holding onto your elbows or linking around the wrists. A bit of a shuffle until you're comfortable. If you get any great discomfort here, then bring your arms into a different position. But just gently allow the shoulders to open. Maybe have it wriggle until you're in a position that you can sustain and breathe. Just holding here for a few more breaths. Always notice if a position is restricting your breath in any way, and consider how you could adjust or modify to get into a position where the breath moves with more ease. Okay, release the arms slowly, circle them down, pick up behind your thighs, and then grab hold of shins or your feet, maybe from the outer edges of your feet if you can reach. And then you've got the option of lifting the heels high, so the heels stack above your knees. Now the hips are going to try and lift off the ground. Let's press them back down. So it's going to bring it into a much deeper hip stretch or groin stretch. So allow your belly to soften, make space to breathe. If the shoulders are scooping forward, gently press them open and towards the ground. And then we've got one last stretch before we relax, sending the legs out wide. Now, if you feel super tight, you might keep your knees bent. You can hold from the outside, you could hold from the inside, or you might start to push the heels away and try and straighten the legs a bit more. Always check in with the trunk of the body. Just trying to get my foot out of the camera. Okay. So if you find that you're losing all your posture, let's try and stabilize this area first. Support your legs as much as they need, and we'll just stay for a few breaths. And then bring your feet to the floor. You can either have your knees resting together, or you may like to stretch your legs out today. Floating arms at your sides, palms up, let the shoulder blades shuffle a bit closer towards each other behind your back, at your back. Opening across the chest, broadening collarbones and adjusting the position of your head so that your throat can relax and your neck feels long. Settling in for a few minutes, just for say about 3 minutes. Letting your body relax down with every out breath. To hold your attention internally, still feeling into your body, feeling your breath moving around your body, relaxing where you can, letting go of any tightness that you're holding. Allow yourself to feel so heavy, dropping into the floor and feeling completely supported. Let's just stay for around 3 more long breaths. Fully in and slowly out. And then finally, when you're ready to move again, start by sweeping your arms all the way overhead. Send your fingers as far away from your toes as you possibly can. Really, really stretch out. And gather your knees in. Just a gentle gathering in. Try not to squeeze too hard. And finally, make your way back up into a seated position where we can all finish together. Let your arms rest comfortably. Shoulders loop back a couple of times and then let them settle in a natural position. We're not pulling them down. We're just letting them relax away from ears. And with your next breath in, float arms open and high. Touch and lower to your heart space.